This discovery began during our camping trip. Next morning, I found a small lake, just a short walk from our campsite, and I couldn't resist wondering what microscopic life was hiding in that water. So, I collected two samples from two different spots in the lake and brought them back for examination. For each sample, I prepared 3 drops on microscope slides, that is, 6 drops in total. When I finally looked through the microscope, I was surprised by how much life was hiding in those tiny drops. I found several different organisms, each with its own fascinating story. But instead of putting everything into one long video, I'm going to explore them one at a time. In this episode, we are going to focus on just one of these organisms, the Cladoceran or water flea. The other organisms I discovered in the samples will be explored in the upcoming videos of this series. So, let's take a closer look at this tiny creature and discover what makes it so fascinating. What you're looking at may seem like a tiny transparent blob floating in water, but it's actually a fascinating animal called a Cladoceran, most commonly known as water flea. Don't worry, it isn't a flea at all. It doesn't bite humans. It gets its name because it swims with quick, jerky movements that resemble tiny fleas jumping through the water. These microscopic crustaceans live in ponds, lakes, puddles, and slow moving freshwater around the world. Now, coming to the classification hierarchy, scientists identify every living organism using a classification system, almost like giving it a complete home address. Let's follow the journey of a tiny water flea. It belongs to the domain Eukarya because its cells contain a true nucleus. It is part of a kingdom Animalia because it is an animal. It belongs to the phylum Arthropoda, the same group that includes insects, spiders, crabs, and shrimp. More specifically, it belongs to the subphylum Crustacea, meaning it is actually more closely related to crabs and shrimps than to insects. Its class is Branchiopoda and its order is Cladocera. Depending on the exact species, it may belong to the family Delphinidae and the genus Delphinia. Now let's understand the anatomy of the water flea. One of the most amazing things about Cladocerans is their bodies are almost transparent. This allows us to see many of the internal organs without dissection. The large dark spot near the head is its compound eye, helping it detect light and movement. The large antennae at the front act like paddles, allowing it to swim. The digestive tract runs through the body, and if you look carefully, you can even see what it has been eating. Female Cladocerans also carry their developing eggs inside a special brood chamber, making them one of the easiest animals to observe under a microscope. Now let's understand how do they move. Unlike fish that swims using fins or insects that crawl using legs, Cladocerans move using their large antennae. They beat these antennae like tiny oars, producing quick, jerky jumps through the water. This hopping motion is exactly why they are commonly called water fleas. Watching them swim under a microscope almost looks like they are bouncing through an invisible underwater world. Here you can see that it is trying to swim away, but it is under my microscope now. Now let's understand what do they eat. Although they are tiny, Cladocerans are incredibly important because they constantly clean the water around them. They are filter feeders, meaning they collect microscopic food particles from the surrounding water. Their diet includes algae, bacteria, yeast, and tiny bits of organic material. By feeding this way, they help keep freshwater ecosystems healthy and balanced. Now let's understand its life cycle and reproduction. Most Cladocerans reproduce without needing a male through a process called parthenogenesis. The female produces eggs that develop directly into young offsprings inside a brood chamber. When conditions are favorable, populations can increase very rapidly. However, during harsh environmental conditions, they produce special resting eggs that can survive droughts and even freezing temperatures until conditions improve. Now, are they important? Even though they are microscopic, cladocerans play a huge role in freshwater ecosystems. They feed on algae and bacteria, helping to keep the water clean. At the same time, they are an important food source for fish, tadpoles, insect larvae, and many other aquatic animals. Without these tiny creatures, many freshwater food chains would collapse. Now, is it really a cladoceran? At first glance, many microscopic animals look similar, but careful observation reveals important differences between them. Rotifers have a rotating crown of the tiny hairs near the head. Copepods have a long segmented body with very long antennae. Ostracods resemble tiny clams enclosed inside a hard shell. The specimen under a microscope has a transparent body, a single large compound eye, powerful swimming antennae, and a brood chamber carrying eggs, all a classic feature of a cladoceran. Now let's understand some facts about them. Because their bodies are transparent, scientists can actually observe many internal organs while the animal is still alive. In some species, even the tiny beating heart can be seen under a microscope. Some females can carry dozens of developing eggs at once. Their resting eggs are so resistant that they can survive for years in dry lake beds before hatching again when water returns. So, to summarize, although it is only a few millimeters long, the cladoceran is one of the most fascinating freshwater animals you can observe under a microscope. It is a transparent crustacean that swims using antennae, feeds by filtering microscopic particles, carries its young inside its body, and plays a vital role in keeping freshwater ecosystems healthy. Tiny in size but absolutely essential to life in ponds and lakes. And this is just the beginning. There were several other fascinating organisms hiding in those same water samples, and I'll be exploring them one by one in the upcoming videos of the series. So, if you want to continue this microscopic journey with me and discover what else was hiding in that lake, make sure you subscribe and follow the series. I will see you in the next episode where we will take a closer look at another tiny resident of this hidden world.